what I worry about with Raskin, in all seriousness, when people encounter trauma, they often associate a lot of the other things around that trauma with it, even if they don't naturally or even rationally associate.
Maybe so.
And what I worry about for the Congress and for Jamie Raskin, no one would ever want to lose a child, particularly to suicide.
Of course not.
As a human being, our hearts go out to him. But I think that he takes that trauma and he associates it now with his work in the Congress to such an interwoven way that he's unable to kind of do the congressional experience outside of just the dungeon of that personal trauma. And I think it makes him look at everything in these very dark and severe ways where, we try to come to the job really to uplift people, we're
here to serve the people.
Well, and
audacious, to say the least. And of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene followed that up with this statement. Well, my goodness, it's a horrible thing that he went through in terms of Raskin, but it doesn't change the fact of his political beliefs. And I believe he's a communist. And I believe what he's doing on the January 6th committee is completely wrong. Yeah, really. Thankfully that there are people out there with some honor, humanity, dignity, all of these things who decided to go ahead and stand up for Raskin, and that's AOC. She responded with this tweet. Representative Raskin is a greater statesman, congressman, human being than most of us. History will remember him. Tommy was a remarkable person and testament of his parents' love. Gaetz is a bad haircut in a cheap suit, a feat of mediocrity given that he's here on Papa's money. Bye. Absolutely, absolutely accurate and on point. The fact is that Gaetz has probably caused people more trauma than he has ever uplifted them. Yet for some reason, he still thinks he can run his mouth. And of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene continued to run her mouth in making another attempt at distraction. And as Brett had noted, it stunk literally.
And why their due process rights are being so flagrantly and horrifically violated, flagrantly.
That's her talking about individuals who have been arrested for their insurrectioning behavior. Yeah, exactly. Once again, trying to distract. And of course, Arizona's congressman from Arizona, Andy Biggs, of course, he had to showcase his nonsense. Check this out.
They don't want you talking about, hey, the size of that pack of tortillas that I just bought last week before it came out. They used to look like the regular corn tortillas. They look like mini tortillas. Same price, the same packaging. They don't want you talking about that. They don't want you talking about, hey kids, we're not gonna be able to go on vacation this year. They don't want you talking about any of that because that's what Americans are talking about.
These people really went the distance in order to hopefully distract people from actually watching the hearing and the results. And it really speaks to their culpability, but also to go to the extent of bringing in the suicide of someone's son. It's loathsome beyond belief, Brett.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack of what we watched. Let's start with the last thing first. Andy, those are flour tortillas. You white, those are flour tortillas. The corn ones are the little ones. They sell little flour ones for white people like you and white people like me who love the flour tortillas. But to represent Arizona, he's trying to say, I know that we have tortillas because it's a word next to Mexico.
Brett,
you're an idiot.
Brett, you do need to give him some credit because he didn't say tortilla.
Yeah.
Just give him that, okay? Come on.
Big man, small. Okay, so okay.
Continue.
And now to go back to Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz. Seriously, these people and their stupid faces, because I can't look at what they just did. Jamie Raskin is a good progressive individual. He seems to very frequently be on the right side. And his son died. His son died, and he went through that. And anyone who's been through a very traumatic experience knows that in the wake of something like that, one of two things happens. One, you fall apart. Two, you compartmentalize it. And it drives you to go do better work. I can speak from firsthand experience. I never did better in school than when my dad was dying. Like, I know that's the truth. That's how it works. And for these snake oil salesmen who went to the graduate school of Jim and Tammy Faye Baker televangelism to sit there with their crocodile tears and pretend that they're concerned for Jamie Raskin after he buried his own son is despicable, and it's evil. And to invoke any bit of religious reverence for the hereafter means that they are truly evil people who deserve to roast in the bowels of hell forever. And worse, they're using it in their Make America Great Again sermon to tell you that they believe in anything American at all, when really they believe in naught but fascism and the undermining of American democracy and everything they say that anybody would say makes America great. That's all I have to say about that.
Well, you made some very eloquent points, and I definitely agree with you in terms of it being entirely despicable. And unfortunately, this is who these people are, which is why they should not be in any positions of power. But until the American people get that and take the action necessary, we are going to continue to suffer.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.